Assalamu alaikum again. You are welcome to Istanbul Şehir University. My name is Muzaffer Şenel. I am a lecturer at Department of Political Science and International Relations and Vice Director for the Center for Modern Turkish Studies. Today, Professor Hasan Kösebalaban from our Department of Political Science and International Relations. Today he will be with us, and Ms. Hande Baltacı from our international office. Today we will give a 20 minutes about the university, then to talk about, we will take to your questions. But before starting that, one by one, we will introduce ourselves. Then we will continue with to the university presentation. Then later on, we will discuss the latest development what's going on in the Middle East, and we will share our views. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Hande Baltacı. I work as the Deputy Manager at the International Relations Office.
And my name is Sudan. I'm Third Secretary in the Turkish Ministry, Foreign Affairs of the Turkish Ministry. And I'm serving for the Diplomatic Academy. That's it.
My name is Hande. I'm Third Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Sudan. And I'm serving at the Department of European Affairs.
My name is Ilham Kamal. I'm Third Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And now I am in the Department of Protocol.
Hasan, Department of Human Rights, Women, and Third Secretary.
My name is Ammar Mahmoud. I am First Secretary in the Protocol Department in the Ministry of Affairs.
My name is Muhammad Hasan. I'm First Secretary at the Department of General Consuls.
My name is Muhammad Rashid, Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I'm called Ahmed Muhammad Abdullah, First Secretary, Arab Affairs Department.
My name is Abdullah, also First Secretary. I work now in the Department of
Yeah. Başlayabilirsiniz.
Welcome to all of you again. Let me start by asking, how many of you have been to Turkey before? Just one. Okay, and Istanbul is obviously the first time as well. For you?
Istanbul is the first time I've been to Ankara.
You've been to Ankara?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we always start such presentations with why Turkey, as we have to situate ourselves, our university, within the context of Turkey. We see ourselves as a rising star in the region, I can say. We are a relatively safe country. We do have some disputes here and there, but we don't have, we are living in a state of peace. We don't have civil war going on. We have a stable economy. The GDP per capita is around 15,000 USD dollars. This estimate from 2010, I believe. We call ourselves as where East meets the West because Turkey has land on both European continent and Asian continent. The European continent is a small bit, but still in terms of cultural exchanges, we consider ourselves a mixture. Also, we as Turkey, we are aiming to become a study destination for students, especially in terms of the higher education sector. There's a growing trend in that region. There are about 168 universities in Turkey. They are either state universities or foundation universities. There are two types of universities. About 65 of these whole list consist of foundation universities. So we also promote our high quality education, and we do give a lot of, as Turkey as a whole, a lot of scholarships, dormitory facilities to students. We have a young population. very young population who is active consumer of technology, internet. We do follow technological developments very closely. And because we have such a young population, we consider ourselves privileged. Now the key is to educate them and to provide them with jobs, so they can contribute further to Turkey's development. Well, why Istanbul? We are at the crossroads of two continents. Istanbul has land on both continents, as you know. Where do you stay? Did you just come from European side or?
Yes,
European side, okay. You have been over the bridge here. Was there any traffic this morning? No? A little bit.
Yeah.
It's rainy, so
Yeah.
okay. Well, it's a great metropolis. Do you want to did we list there? Yes, about 12 million inhabitants. It's actually with people coming and going. I would say 15 million people in the city. There are 44 or 45 universities in the city alone. Yes. In itself, Istanbul is like a country. There are countries smaller than Istanbul in terms of population and development also. And Istanbul is, well, Ankara is the capital, the governmental center, but real center in terms of economics, finance and culture is Istanbul. And there are lots of foreign visitor tourists coming to the city and going all through the year. Why Istanbul Şehir University? Do you know what Şehir means? Şehir means the city. Actually, Professor Muzaffer has a very good explanation of the name of the university. I think I'll turn to you for that one.
Actually, Şehir is, I'm sure that you are familiar with the Şehir, that I mean the Medina. I mean from Yasrib to Medina, the transformation of a town to being a civilization. I mean, because the Şehir means that to Medina. Medina means that how can we upgrade, how can we make or materialize, how can we create a kind of civilization. It is related with the civilization, it is related with the Medina. That we choose the Şehir, which shows that it's you know, there's a tradition from city, civilized, and the civilization, which is coincidence with it's almost the equal understanding in our civilization. It means Medina, Madaniyat, which is related to the Şehir. That's why we choose the name of the university as Şehir. That to create a kind of the material conception of the civilization at the same time, which is embeddedly include to the spirit of the civilization.
Well, Professor Muzaffer has been in this journey from the very start, I must say. We are a very young university. We were established in 2008 and we received our first students in 2010. So this is the third academic year. We have not yet graduated any undergraduate students at this point. And there was an active period of 2 years of preparation time before the university was launched and received its first students. But the real tradition, the idea of the university is much older. The university has been founded by Foundation for Sciences and Arts, which is a very active NGO, non-governmental organization in Istanbul. They've been active since 1986. And they concentrate in the field of social sciences. They organize a lot of seminars, free lectures to students internationally and nationally. And really what makes Istanbul Şehir University special is that they are benefiting coming from this from the work of this foundation, where an intellectual platform has been created for many years. And a lot of scholars in the areas of global studies, civilization studies, Turkish studies and art studies are already familiar with each other and with this foundation. So now the university, although it's very young, it can become a center of attraction for many scholars around the world. That's really a very special aspect of the university. And also, we are one of the, maybe the only real foundation university in Turkey. When we say foundation, foundations work like vakıf tradition. They are non-profit organizations, and most of the financial resources of the university is coming from the foundation. So the university is not in this so-called educational business to make money, but to really produce knowledge that can be applied and used in the locality. To give you some of the figures, again, although we are young, we are listed among the top 10 universities in Turkey. We have about 180 faculty members and about 2,000 students. 15% of these students are international students from 44 different countries. This is a real success. If we situate it within the context of Turkey, even within the context of US or Canada, it's a real success because the internationalization rate in Turkish universities is around 3%. In only 3 years, we have reached 15%, and the diversity is quite a lot, as you can see. We have one student from Sudan, undergraduate student.
We invited him also today, but I'm sure, I think he has some courses, and then he says that if he had the chance that he will join us, hopefully he will join us around 11.
Yeah, he's studying cinema and television. We are looking forward to receiving many more Sudanese students. And after this meeting, I would be very open and happy if there is any contact person that we can hook us up with in terms of promoting Sharing University in Sudan to bring in more international students from Sudan. We would just be more than happy to get in touch with them. So that's an open area. That's my primary job at this university, is to bring in more international students. We do have undergraduate and graduate students. So we do have a whole list of master's programs, not PhD programs yet, but we will be opening them shortly as well. I put this slide in because I really like it. 2 continents in Istanbul, 6 continents in Şehir. We're going to update the numbers, but I do really like it because we have representation from very different geographical regions. And that shows you the increase in numbers. Hopefully next year we will double this year. That's the goal. And the distribution, about 45% of our students this year come from the Middle East. As you see, Africa is just 5%, which I'm not happy about, because there is a growing trend in Turkey for African students to join from many different countries. And we want to be more active in that. We want to increase it to at least 10%, if not more. These are the list of academic units we have. We are also quite special in terms of our curricula development. First of all, number 1 emphasis is to have curricula that's up to date. That's with the modern standards, so we benchmark our curricula with the leading universities around the world. Our second special point is that we are interdisciplinary. For example, the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, the name of the faculty is one of the rare examples. It was the first one, now the university is using it after us. But even the names of the faculties indicate our emphasis on interdisciplinary issues. There can be no political science without the study of history. I mean, you know these, you know at least this one very well. And we have Faculty of Islamic Studies, Law, Communications, Business and Management, Faculty of Engineering and Natural Sciences. Also, in the science section, we want to graduate engineers who know how to present themselves, who know how to talk in front of people, present their ideas, who have the soft social skills as well. So we do have we are trying to merge engineering fields with social sciences, and graduate engineers who can be managers, administrators. It's in the 21st century, it's not enough just to be an engineer. And there are not many universities who are aware of this. Şehir University is a leader in that as well. We have, again, a long list of MA programs. MA in Modern Turkish Studies is the only such program in Turkey at the master's level. As you can see, we do have a very strong social science focus here. We have a double degree program at the University of Sheffield in UK. We also have our own management master program. And here you see again interdisciplinary Master of Science program.
And one more thing about the political science and international relations. We are offering two programs, with one of them with the thesis one, with the non-thesis one. We had a special agreement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey, and now 8 diplomats is taking these courses, which is focusing on specializing on the Middle East. And Professor Kösebalaban is the coordinator of the program.
Is it a 1 year master program?
1 year master program for specifically focusing on the Middle East, and then to do for especially to the diplomats, explaining the political economy, international law, which is the interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, which transcend the disciplinary boundaries to explain to the complexity of the Middle East. I'm sure that Professor Kösebalaban give more.
And it is conducted in English?
In English?
Yes, yes. Courses are in English, and we can design special package and in terms of payments, and we have two options, as Professor Muzaffer explained. Thesis option, we give scholarship, and we have two dear students here who are thesis option students in the modern Turkish studies, and they receive scholarship, and in exchange with scholarship they do some assistant duties. But the non-thesis option is designed more professionally, short-term, 1 year, and we receive then tuition money from the Ministry of Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
And concentrated and focused on the diplomats.
And we have some discounts also, for institutional discounts. If, for example, if Sudanese Minister of Foreign Affairs is interested, in such a program, then we can talk about the details.
We will give for the Turkish and for the non-Arabic speaking, that we are offering Arabic courses now. Today I invite them, but they have the Arabic course right now, which is going on. But that's why they are not joining us today. They are taking the Arabic course or Persian course compulsorily. If the international step, they will take the Turkish course as well. Turkish for the international, we are offering very good Turkish program for the internationals as well. And then it comes from we believe that the knowledge which comes from the localities gives more concentrated and more conscious information about the region. That's why we focused on that.
Have you experienced of diplomats attending programs here?
Right now?
Yes,
So we have 8 diplomats.
8 diplomats right now. Turkish diplomats. Hopefully next year the Bulgarians will join us, or Tunisians as well. We are still in contact.
Do you have any students you sent? Young diplomats you sent for such programs overseas?
Here or other countries?
The other countries.
You sent?
Yeah.
Which countries are they?
China, Malaysia, Italy.
Korea.
1 year program.
It takes a master.
Yeah, 1 year program.
1 year program, and we can also offer some.
Sometimes it's extended. In case of Japan, I think it was
Because of language.
Yeah, also Korea, so it's
Yes,
still
China
extended.
I myself did my master's in Sudan.
And it helps gradually, they work in the Yamanis, in the Sudanese the same department.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it helps.
Yeah.
Kursların konu kırıklığı geçelim. Hızlıca
So we
söyleyeyim.
can also discuss the details about that. All courses are conducted in English only. Even though, for example, right now we don't have international students in some classes, we still teach in English. So we don't compromise from that. Some universities in Turkey may say, you know, the language of instruction is English and they teach actually in Turkish. But this is not the case here. Strictly all courses are conducted in English.
Because we have the many international students, thanks to them. Actually, I'm giving the comparative foreign policy courses. I have 10 students, just only one of them is Turkish, and then all of them all over the world. And they just one student from Yemen, one student from Bangladesh, one student from Albania, Montenegro, and Serbia, Germans, Iranians. Then it gives a kind of the understanding that they bring their knowledge to the course as well.
And another thing, I mean, in terms of the capabilities of instructors teaching English, for example, engineering faculty, almost 100%, all of the faculty members, they have US PhDs. They come from, not only, you know, fresh PhDs coming from the United States, but faculty members in the United States, leaving their jobs and returning back to Turkey. So that's the policy of the university when admitting, you know, I mean, work some time over there, and then we will get to that, you know, your kind of policies that are so extremely capable of teaching in English. And in social science, I invite you to look at the website where the background of the professors are given. They are all well known. And those from Turkey are extremely well known in the region, in Turkey and in the region. So extremely high quality you know, level of academics.
Are you following any international system, for example, the British system?
Yeah,
More American system, I would say.
Actually, for the international standard, let's say that, the program is that, as you know, that Turkey is a part of the European credit transfer system, the Bologna system. Since the accession process is going on, Turkey is the part of the European credit transfer system, which is I'm not sure that how you are familiar with the Bologna process, which trying to create a kind of the common diploma for all over the European countries. We are part of it, but apart from that, we are also bringing our specificities into the context that makes a balance between East and West and creating a new kind of eclectic center, and then which producing which not only copying the American or the European models, we take some examples, the good examples from them, then transferring to here, to producing with the new eclectic understanding of that, because Turkey has also, since the Waqf system and also the Ottoman madrasas and the Islamic madrasas, the transfer of this knowledge into the context. That's why we are Shehir. I mean, that's why we use the Shehir as the university name, that to create a new kind of understanding, new interpretation, and then it is time for that to do it. That's why we prepare the kind of international standards together with the local information, the articulation of the local knowledge throughout the global understanding and global curricula.
Yes, go ahead.
In many European universities, they don't have a separate Masters of Arts degree except the British system and the US system, Anglo-Saxon system is more similar to the new university in Turkey. And this Bologna process is trying to synchronize the European system with the Anglo-Saxon system. So in that sense, for example, Turkey, we don't have PhDs here yet, but many private Turkish universities, when they accept to PhD, or some state universities also do that, PhD students, there is a coursework. But in Europe, when you go to PhD program, you just register and then start writing your dissertation. But here, there is a coursework, and after two years of coursework, you have to pass the qualifying exam and then write your dissertation. So in that sense, it's similar to US system. I think that's also superior to continental European system, which is some kind of in crisis right now.
Okay, and we can do none of this if we are not a research university. So research is the focus. That's why we are able to attract good, strong faculty members. And along those lines, we have 3 research centers. And we will have many more coming up. We are a research university, but we also very much care about teaching. As we already talked a bit about this, we are in the process of developing joint and double degrees, and we have a common core curricula for the first year. So every student has to take these courses during their first year, and they have an option to transfer into another program in their second year if they want. Then they can also do a minor, so it gives students flexibility in terms of their program choice. Now this part is probably where it will be the most interesting for you, our range of international cooperation activities. We currently have these agreements with these universities: George Mason, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and University of Sheffield, and another university in China. Now we don't believe in just signing agreements, because that's not really useful. What we believe is in when we sign an agreement, how to actually use that agreement.
Yes, fine.
So the ones that we have are the ones that are really active. For example, just to give you an example, with George Mason University, we are part of this global problem-solving consortium. It is picking up speed, and we are working on developing a joint curricula.
Çay istiyor.
Çok alındırım. Dünyanın getiriyordu ama o
tamam.
kahveleri getirecek.
Tamam. Yok ben almıyorum bir şey. Çay içmiyorum. Siz de alın.
Just this summer, we are sending one of our students to George Mason University for a summer workshop in terms of developing this common curriculum.
I mean that about the global solving problem is the global solving consortium, which is the consortium that prepared by the George Mason University 2 years ago. We launched, we are also part of it. This is a common curriculum program that are trying to create a kind of joint degree programs and in the undergraduate level, master level, and the PhD level. That's still an ongoing process, still it did not complete it, but we are part of it with those countries, those universities, the university from each continent, to create a kind of global understanding the world, to meet the challenges of the globalization, that to create a kind of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary with the intercultural and the multicultural dialogue and explanations, that how can we bring it together in the context of the university education in undergraduate, graduate and the PhD level, which is the ongoing program still that each country, each from the Brazil to Delhi, to Brazil to India, Kenya, Russia, China, South Korea, and the US and Turkey, all these universities are included into the consortium, which gives a kind of explanation to us that which will provide us to our students that they will take the courses one year, one term, or they will join the joint degree programs or major degree programs with these universities, or for the researchers and the graduates that they will have a chance to study on the field. And all these universities, all these researchers will have a chance to circular visit to all these facilities of the universities, make the research, to study, to take the programs.
Another point I want to stress is we don't right now have any agreement or ongoing cooperation with the university from Sudan. We are very much open to it. And you are here today, you are seeing us, you're talking with us, you have a presentation about the university. Just if after this meeting, if you can just take a mental note that there is this Turkish university open to any cooperation, any meaningful cooperation, mutually beneficial, we are open to it. So you can always get in touch with Muzaffer, Professor Muzaffer, or our international relations officer. We do also have for the European connection, we do have a range of Erasmus partnerships. This is some of the universities that we are in touch with.
How you are familiar with the Erasmus program or the European system there? You know, the European Union has launched a program, the Erasmus program, which generates the student mobility, researcher mobility, and then also the scholar mobility, staff, administrative and administrative staff mobility.
Little sugar. Little sugar. Şu şeyi verecek ondan sonra.
Çok şekerli olan en baştakine. Çok şekerli. Yeah, it includes the fellowship program. It includes the scholarship, with scholarship, without scholarship. There are some kind of the ranges that it depends on the students' credits. I mean, it depends on the students will. Buradan birisi orta istemişti. Eğer kimse almadıysa ben alabilirim. The middle one? Okay, I will take it.
Ben bir sade alacaktım ama.
Ya da siz alabilirsiniz, sade mi istiyorsunuz?
Yok, ben sade istiyorum. Sen kendin al, ben sonra.
I mean, these, ne konuşuyorduk? It depends on the student scholarship that, because, for example, the university, the students will, if students takes the scholarship from the university at the beginning, that they will enjoy all these rights without neglecting any of them. But if he doesn't have any scholarship there, he will take the academic excellence scholarship that he will enjoy with that as well. Because there are different, this is the very different and the various opportunities of the scholarship. It depends on the student success and the scholar success. And the Erasmus program is that, you know, the student mobility, administrative and the scholars mobility, generating to all the universities within the European system. As part, Turkey is, you know, as part of the European system, is that we have a chance to do agreement with all these universities, which are somehow well-known universities of Europe as well.
It's beneficial for our professors, beneficial for our students. If a Sudanese student becomes our student, they can benefit from these agreements as well. It's not just restricted to Turkish citizens. It's any student who is our student can benefit.
I had an Egyptian student. She went to Germany.
Yeah. For a year.
Come back?
No. Next term that she will, maybe she wants to extend. I hope she will extend one term, or she will return back, because we have also one student from Kyrgyzstan. He went to Italy or the Pavia University. Our department, Political Science and International Relations department, lots of agreements. Yes. Since I traveled all over. I made my research in Europe. That's why we have many contacts. Many scholars have many contacts with the European University. Therefore, roughly speaking, more than 10 students is now on Erasmus program.
We do, in terms of our physical facilities, we do have two campuses. One is where you are right now. This is the West Campus. There is the East Campus, very close here. Our location is, now you are all newcomers to Istanbul, but if you lived here just, let's say, 10 days, you will very quickly recognize the central location of this university. Traffic is a big issue in Istanbul, and it is such a big issue that students sometimes choose, one of the factors that they consider in choosing a university is actually the location of the university, because they spend a lot of time. In short, we are a city university. We benefit from our central location, but we also have a campus in Dragos, which is again on the Anatolian side, Asian side. We haven't yet moved there, but it will be much more spacious, where we will have more space for everything, but especially for research facilities, laboratories, and in order to get more funded research projects from the government, we do have to have that space, and in order to bring in doctorate students so they can work. It's roughly, that's the location. You are right now here, and the main campus will be here, and that's the European side. Just a couple of pictures from our library and university socializing area, and some designs from the campus, the main campus. Some contact information.
Floor is yours. Any questions, comments?
Thank you for your informative presentation. From this presentation, we know that the university involved in problem-solving consortium launched other universities. I would like to ask if the university, given its background, hosts visiting universities from other countries to discuss some problems or concerns here, or even the university has other activities leaders, such like hosting scholars from other countries, discuss events concerning.
Yeah, we are open to share the knowledge. I mean, if anyone interested in that, we will be able to share that.
I see that you have relation with Singapore.
Yeah.
So, what kind of problems?
What kind of?
Problem discussed?
I mean, especially with these global following curricular programs that consortium is mostly focusing at to create a kind of global curricula for all students. I mean, you know, all over the world that the disciplinary studies as some kind of the core courses should be equal in terms of that. I mean, if you are an international student, international relations student, you should take some courses all over the world is the same. I mean, the same courses, especially the understanding of the international law, understanding of the theories of international relations, or comparative politics, or to give the essence of the political science. That I mean, to the basic concepts, how it is translated into the political context. That this is problem-solving consortium is mostly related to that. How can we create a kind of joint degree programs and the common curricula, and then how can we generate the common work projects? I mean, research facilities for the scholars who wants to make the field research and conducting the research on the field, to provide them to the enormous opportunities which are individually cannot do it. I mean, it is institutionalized. We are trying to institutionalize, make some principles to put to some to criteria for that, to make for example, the students. One student from our university wants to go to the master or PhD level or the undergraduate level. Anyone who wants to go to the Kenya and wants to study, or for graduate students, for example, and wants to make an anthropological work on Amazons, and then what will be the security of the students, security of the scholars, security or the accommodation or the travel or the health insurance over there. These are our everyday life practices that we should engage with. With these global solving consortium, that we are bringing all these issues which is affecting our life to make the research, that to make the facilitation to work those issues. That's why the main idea behind this, to create the common understanding, what will provide you, what we are offering you, what you will offer us. I mean, it's a kind of a kind of, let's say, workout throughout the cooperation and the collaboration facilities. How can we generate it?
Just a small addition. Outside of that consortium, let's say you know of a faculty member who wants to study on something here, do a research project. You can always just either email iro@şehir.edu.tr. This is the International Relations Office. Or you can, from our website, main website, find the faculty member that you would like to be in touch with, and can email them directly. Sometimes faculty members find each other in different institutions to work on research projects, and once that dialogue begins, then International Relations Office steps in to give it some more institutional framework. Like we can sign a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the two institutions that these professors belong to, which will enable, in some cases, just faculty exchange. In some cases, student exchange. I mean, it really depends on what we can do the paperwork, the office can do the paperwork, but the initial dialogue should be between really the faculty members.
And yeah, I forgot to say that all those things, that thanks to Hande to remind us that we have the research centers as well, that they will contact directly to the centers, the scholars, faculty members, and the IRO. I mean, there are lots of open, the channels are open, and then they just want to do it, all channels. And then if you want to take the more, I mean, as a faculty member, many faculties doesn't know anything about the paperwork, how can do it, or so on and so forth. That's why, I mean, they will say that, okay, we agreed on it, but how can do it, we don't know. That's why we have the international office.
So, sorry, does that mean that you offer like a kind of distance learning for these faculty members or for the overseas students?
Not a distance learning. We don't have any distance learning or e-learning. We don't have. What we are offering them, if they want to make and research or wants to study that, we will provide some informations what they want to do or so on and so forth. Then, if we agreed on the topics, that we will invite them, or we will to them that they will use it, which facilities, or we will have an agreement, or without, I mean, we will have a direct agreement between the universities, then it will work out. It depends on the, I mean, there is no only one way. Okay, there is no only one way. Lots of channels and the ways are, and then it depends on the faculties. It depends on the research. For example, it will be different for the who wants to study on the Middle East will be different than the sciences, because it is not related to the laboratories and so on. It depends, but we have all channels. Open channels, open channel policy.
Open to creativity. You can invite our faculty members to your conferences, to your universities, or vice versa. If you like to come and give a lecture on some subject, feel free to contact us. It can be like short 2-3 day thing, a week-long thing.
And we'll be glad if you give us a copy of the presentation.
Yeah, we will have now, all your contact information.
So that we'll be able to distribute it.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Actually, it's quite interesting to know that although the university is relatively new, so you have 15% of international students. I think this is a real achievement that the university seems to be different. So for an international student, if the language of teaching is English language, not Turkish, it's quite
easier,
attractive,
much easier.
much easier. So I want to know, being for Sudan, having just one Sudanese student, it's quite a pity actually to know that. So we are eager to have more Sudanese enter the university.
Okay.
And then I want to know the procedure by which this one student came to be in Turkey, because it seems like quite strange, unless he's been staying in Turkey. So, because it seems like you are not famous enough in Sudan. So, Sudanese student doesn't know much about your university. it may be logical because it's relatively new. So, yeah, we are eager to have more and more scholarship. I would insist in the scholarship because being a least developed country, I think it will be more attractive to have a scholarship, and then it is also more attractive to just to know that you are going to be taught in English, and then I want to know whether there are other facilities like health insurance. So I just want to know the procedure by which we can attract more and more.
Well, this is my favorite topic because it's where my job revolves around. But I won't take too much of the group's time, just to give you a couple sentences, then we can continue the dialogue afterwards. We do, as the International Relations Office, we promote the university in many different countries in many different ways. One is using online resources, and all of our students, all of our international students are on scholarship, only different levels. Some do not pay any tuition, some pay 75, some pay 50, some pay 25% tuition, whatever. And the scholarships are given based on academic merit, that's number one. Secondly, financial need. And the third is knowledge of English. If the student knows English, and I know there are quite a few students whose English are very good, that we can attract here. So no problem giving scholarships to studying students who match these criteria. And there are plenty such students. We just have to find channels of reaching them. Sometimes we work through ministries, through educational agencies, just advertisements, banners on websites. We try any way we can to get the word out. But it's a very big operation. It requires quite a lot of budget also to go to travel. We travel to a number of countries to educational fairs. So meetings like this one are also instrumental because we have a chance to talk about ourselves. And when you go back to your country, when you talk to people, you can bring up possibly the study opportunity in Turkey. Money is not an issue if the student is qualified. We just want good candidates. And when we email, I'll provide you with my email address. I'm the main contact person. Anyway, so now you know me, you have seen me, you can always reach me. We are very accessible via email all time.
So you don't need official channels.
No,
so directly university and your own site.
Exactly. The student applies, there is an online application form, and we look for high school grades from Sudan, just high school diploma. If there is TOEFL, IELTS, that's very good. If not, they take our English exam when they come here. And their extracurricular activities, like anything that a high school student has achieved, we look at.
Online exam.
It's
online.
The online application is available through to the Shehir website.
How do you evaluate their lesson? If they don't have TOEFL IELTS, how do you evaluate?
We hold interviews. If the student, there's an admissions committee at our university that looks at all the applications. If the student looks like a good candidate, then we hold interviews over Skype. So we have, even if the student does not have IELTS or TOEFL, if we talk to them, we can have a good understanding of their English level. And when they come here, they actually take our English exam. And if they pass that, they start from their first year.
We mean undergraduate.
Undergraduate level also as well. We have the graduate level that they will apply directly to the programs. They will search for when you check the international relation, the website of the Shehir in English, that they will see all information over there, and then they will directly apply for those master programs directly for the graduate studies. And then there is also the admission committee over there, and then the scrutinizing investigating all these applications, and according to the academic merit that we are calling them for the interview through to the Skype, roughly speaking, half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour Skype interview. Then it's a we see that during that time, we see that their capability is to continue to do study or not in our graduate programs, as it is this is an international standards to do it, such as overseas students or students from abroad.
But I wonder if the university listed the scholarship programs provided by the Turkish government Sudan.
Yeah, that the Turkish scholarship issue.
It's list of
course. Turkish
universities.
universities, we are also part of Turkish scholarship. The Turkish scholarship. There are 3 or 4 channels to do it. One is the Turkey launched this year with the Turkish scholarship, Türkiye bursları, Turkish scholarship.net. You will find throughout that. Then you will apply throughout that, and also the TÜBİTAK is giving, the Turkish Scientific Committee is giving the scholarship, and there is a bilateral agreement between Turkey and Sudan, which is giving the 5 or 6 students from Sudanese to the Turkish universities. They will enjoy also. Or another one is about again that through to the higher education councils of the both countries has the agreement. There are 4 channels for providing outside the university, from outside the shehir, any university in Turkey, that they will directly apply for those scholarships. Through taking those scholarships, they will come to the universities. They will choose these universities.
Or our university just gives the scholarship. So there are governmental scholarships, and then there is shehir scholarships. That's also, so there are plenty of scholarships. If the student really wants to come, they can find a way.
What is the likelihood of female students, for example, applying and coming to Turkey?
I think there is no problem.
You can encourage that, if you know everybody. Because this is quite a safe university also.
It's a safe atmosphere, it's an Islamic country, so there are many reasons that they would attract females.
Any questions about that? If not, that we will change our topic to what's going on around the world, and what is your comments about what's going on in Middle East, Egypt, because Egypt is your neighbor and it's also our let's change the topic.
This off so that there is change feeling.
Yes. I mean, in fact, I'm sure that you are familiar with what is going on in the Middle East, and there now the Arab revolutions is going on. And I want to hear the Sudanese position, and then Sudanese understanding on the issue, that about the Egypt first, then continue to speak with the Syria, and then how do you see these revolutions, which they call or as the Europeans say, it's an Arab Spring, or as the Arabs say, that Arab revolutions. Any comments? Start with Egypt.
Egypt is a very important country for How is the situation now in Sudan is divided, and there is independence of South Sudan?
South Sudan, yes.
There's still some outstanding issues.
Border
issues. Especially FBA.
Çok mu zor bir soru sordum? Çok mu zor bir soru sordum?
Yok, gayet güzel. Sınırlar şimdi.
South Sudan in this area. Recently, around 9 agreements has been signed between Sudan and South Sudan, but still the implementation process is very slow. And we're trying to overcome the outstanding issues, especially security and the demarcation of the countries. Still, we have a very long journey in this aspect, but we are progressing.
But this will help, do you think, stability?
It's, to some extent it's helping the stability, plus it opened the roads between the two countries. Now there are some roads, and even there are some flights from Sudan to South Sudan now, because there's not been any flight. So things are getting better.
How about like because of the issue, sanctions on Sudan, are they removed because South Sudan is now resolved or something?
Not removed yet.
No.
Although the international community promised to lift the sanctions, but they didn't keep their promise. We signed the CPA, the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, and we respected the wish of our brothers in the South for the secession, and but still nothing has been done by the international community, especially to support Sudan. And of course the economic sanctions created a very big obstacle for Sudan.
So I want to add that the main challenge for the relation between Sudan and South Sudan is security arrangements. Because till now South Sudan is supporting rebels to destabilize the whole area. So moving to area about South Sudan. After signing the CPA, that time was they have two battalions. South what's the main challenge? How to disarm these forces to stop supporting the rebels. If we finalize this issue, then maybe the relation between the two countries can be
about the Middle East, generally, all people, I think that there is this new era or new change in these countries, because now in globalization, no one accepts this long term of governing people, more than 40 or 50 years. But from my point of view, and I think most political people, we are concerned about international intervening in these issues. We are afraid from them to stop this revolution or control it to their specific agenda or their agenda. And in this chance, I hope Turkey can play a big role, because if you are in the past the big brother in this region, which is Egypt, and now all of us see what happened in Egypt, and no one, there is no bigger in this regime now, or this region. I think this is time for Turkey to play a good and big role to guide the Middle East. And directly, I believe there's some power, superpower now, looking and studying, and they have own idea in what happened now in Egypt, in Libya, in Tunisia, or other countries, and they make a strategy to control this new change. And we have to work, and we have to go further than them. And no country can play this role except Turkey.
But Egyptians have this sense of, big brother, as you say, so they see themselves as especially the Muslim brothers, have a tendency of seeing itself as the mother of all movements, including that in Turkey too. So in essence, when we try to give them, some advice, we have a long experience here with the military, with the democratization, So Morsi is rushing too fast.
Yes.
So slow down. It takes time. It takes 40, 50 years in Turkey to achieve what Morsi wants to achieve in a matter of 1 year. So slow down. But this sense, because I know them, and it's also in the United States, some members of their movement, they have this, you know, we don't need to get your advice or something kind of attitude. You know, with this attitude, when you act like, you know, giving them advice, you look like an Ottoman, you know, new Ottoman or something like that. So therefore, the government hesitates, you know, to give any kind of, you know, advice or situation or something like that.
Well, concerning what's going on in Egypt, personally, I think that this is quite normal because the previous regime in Egypt had completely destroyed the normal political progress in the country. In the sense that,
that's true.
Yeah, in the sense that it is very difficult for any current government to deal with the situation in a healthy way. This is quite normal because if you see the history of the revolutions, not only in the Middle East, but also in the Russian Revolution, or in the Chinese Revolution, or in the Iranian Revolution, or even in the French Revolution, it is not guaranteed that you can have a democratic regime right after the revolution, because all of these revolutions ended up with some kind of dictator regimes, you see. The Russian Revolution ended up with someone like Stalin, and the French Revolution ended up with someone like Napoleon. And you all know what ended up in Iran. So, for example, the Iranian people had a very good revolution, but the outcome of that revolution is something totally different from what people expected to see. So I think that this is a little bit normal because people do not have that kind of experience to deal with such issues like the relationship between judiciary and the relationship with parliament. I mean, the whole political culture or the democratic culture is not that deeply rooted because of what the previous regime did. So I think that it needs some time. And you rightly say that Morsi has to slow down because in a very dynamic country like Egypt, you cannot just make things in this fast way, you see. So I am not very much concerned about what's going on in Egypt because studying the history of revolution tells us that this kind of chaos is quite predictable. But after that, maybe we can have a stable democratic regime in this country.
Yeah, I mean, also I think democracy is not necessarily a value in itself. You know, we have, first of all, we must achieve governability. So look at China, for example. You know, so it's an institutional process. You know, I mean, so the name of president is not important. You know, nobody cares who is China's president. You know, because the system itself is ruling it. But unfortunately, in our region, you know, and Turkey is also included in this sense, leadership is very important. So we could not pass from the leadership level to the institutional level. You know, so therefore bureaucracies are very important, must be strong. And you know, so for example, who is the Prime Minister of England? You know, who is the Chancellor of Germany? They are not important. Yes, as personalities they are important, but nothing might change. You know, when France changes president, you know, something like that. We expected that many things will change in France after Sarkozy is no longer. No, because the system continues. You know, so Mr. Hu was the president of China, now is Mr. Xi. You know, nothing much changes. So, but democracy may also bring chaos. You know, not governability. So we first need to achieve governability. I think Morsi, in a sense, is doing the right thing to solidify the power of the presidency, because, you know, the constitutional court took some powers away from him, so he's trying to get those powers back, and also unjustly cancelled or destroyed the parliament. The parliament was elected, and then destroyed. So the parliament was elected and president was elected. So maybe the power of the parliament can temporarily go to the president for the time being, instead of, you know, to supreme or the military or something. But what I'm saying, those things he could extend to a longer time frame. Maybe he's doing the right thing, but it's longer time frame. And let's say 5 years or something ahead of time, and also include other opposition groups. You know, not all opposition groups are the members of the former regime or something. You know, in his statement yesterday, he said the former regime elements are, yes, they exist, but not all of these people are former elements, and they were the ones, because Muslim Brotherhood stayed away from Tahrir, and those people were in Tahrir. You know, so in a way, I think, even though I'm very sympathetic, Ikhwan is acting like, you know, sneaking into the process and stealing these away from other groups. No, also include them, you know, in a plural system. So kind of disappointed, you know. I mean,
I totally agree with you that because personally I think that democracy can be delayed until the institutions are built in any country. Because if we look to the experience of some Asian countries like Malaysia, like South Korea, like Taiwan, all of these countries had what you call a transformative leader, which transfers the country from the previous status to a status where the institutions were built, and then after that, even if this transformative leader disappeared, the institutions can run the country as you rightly mentioned. So I think that democracy is not a priority in many of our countries, but our priority is to have some kind of peace and stability, and then after that we can talk about democracy and those sort of things.
But on the other hand, this is the fact that this is for the decades that stability is democracy, or any part, I do not want to say democracy, but the participation of the whole segment of the society and the transparency is delayed for sacrificing. These are sacrificed things that in the name of the stability, and the stability brings to the authoritarian regimes, brings to the puppets of the puppets regimes like the Mubarak or the Bin Ali. Okay? And then we should set a balance between stability and those participatory forces, or to accommodate at the same time at the level. It's true that institutionality and governability is the key concepts, but on the other hand, that there are some examples that here what is missing for the Middle East, that there is no international, as in the Sudanese case, that they didn't keep the promises for the South Sudans, that they didn't keep the promises for the Arab revolutions, that do not send the direct message, the strong message to support for the stability, at the same time to the forces of these accommodative forces of the participation and the transparency, which is very lack over there. This transformation happened in the Eastern Europe, Central and Eastern Europe, and they sent strong message to them for economical institutionalization, for bureaucratic institutionalization, for political institutionalization, for security institutionalization, remembering that the opening of the Partnership for Peace of the NATO, or the accession or the negotiation processes of the EU, which is a kind of the international forces, international elements, instruments, to send the direct message to those countries to calm down, to open there is a light. This is the this is the transitional tunnel. But they didn't send the same signals to the West Balkan countries that we faced with the genocide over there in Bosnia, in Kosovo, in Macedonia, and then the Serbian context as well. And then these transformatory forces gives us the explanation that how to look at the region. Because if they sent the direct message to all those people to that, this transformation without sacrificing the stability at the same time that the participatory, or let's say today we say democracy, without sacrificing the democracy, without sacrificing the stability, and then to send these institutional mechanism in an international level without it, and the regional level at the same time, and the local level, which is supported, it should be supported both internationally and regionally. So,
well, when I say that democracy can be sacrificed temporarily, I mean that democracy is more than just elections. It is about having a robust political institutions, judicial institutions, by which a democratic system can be set up in any country.
Middle class also. I mean,
middle class. Yes, this is also a very key factor. You see, without having
local authorities,
you cannot talk about democracy. And I think that the culture of democracy is unfortunately absent in many of our societies, because you cannot talk about democracy in a country in which you cannot have the right to choose your religion or your name or your wife or your husband, or you see. So the culture of democracy is also very important, because before we can talk about democracy.
But we have the Waqf system, which is connected with the participatory forces of the society.
But look at the international system. You know what they did. Two Muslim countries and with similar problems, East Timor and South Sudan.
Yes.
But we have also ongoing struggles for independence in non-Muslim countries, you know, and they are doing nothing. You know,
about Cyprus issue, for example.
Mindanao, Cyprus, and Patani, you know, in Thailand. I don't know whether you are familiar with these issues.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Indonesia, divide, you know, take East Timor separate. Double standard, definitely. Like Turkey has applied for membership in the European Union. Now Turkey is the most robust economy, you know, compared to those new entrants, like, you know, what is Greece now in what kind of situation? Now Greek Cyprus declared bankruptcy today, and Bulgaria and Romania. I mean, are they better candidates for European Union? No, but there is one reason why Turkey is not accepted. We know that reason. So, and we can do nothing about that reason. We cannot change our religion. You know, so therefore we must face this reality and confront. You know, we also should not help Europe by saying no, thank you, we don't want you. You know, we should tease them. You know, continue our application. Tell us no. We will not tell you no. You know, I think that must be the approach. If you don't want us, tell this openly. You know, we will not pack and then go home. But at the same time, what Turkey is trying to do today is accept that reality, especially the Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan is aware of this. You know, Foreign Minister, they are all aware of this. So there are regions. I mean, Europe is also ending in its supremacy in the world, and West in general. There are other emerging powers. You know, Brazil, China and India, of course, but
Indonesia,
you know, Indonesia, Brazil, African countries. You know, so Sudan is also a candidate for the dynamic economy. You know, with the investments coming from China, and I think to some extent also Turkey, India, Brazil. So if they impose sanctions on Sudan, we can benefit from this situation and enter, you know, they say. So I think the next, other than, you know, Asia is already booming, but other than Asia, for example, Myanmar. For a long time, what the West told other countries, don't go to Myanmar, sanctions. Now they themselves, you know, even before forming the cabinet, President Obama, and together with the Secretary of State, well, you know,
at the time they wanted to Myanmar is usually
Exactly.
the agenda of Human Rights Council. When the government change so totally they just change their attitude towards Myanmar. So it's quite interesting.
No, I mean, in terms of democracy and stability dilemma, yes, I think human rights must be the priority, but we first need to develop our countries. You know, a developmentalist mentality must exist. Our authoritarian regimes, like former Egyptian regime, Mubarak, their problem was not necessarily they were authoritarian. Their problem was that they were corrupt and they were not thinking of their country's development. He was a slave of Israel, you know. I mean, then he left. Now, why Turkey needs to send a ship to help Gaza when you have the border with Gaza? You know, just open the border and then help those people. You are the giant power in the Arab world, and it's a shame, for you that that 9 Turks are coming and then being killed by. So Egyptian people got this message and then they destroyed this regime. Now a new regime must be established, but now you need to be careful here in terms of you first need to build institutions. I think the same thing goes for Sudan. And I think the second mistake of Mubarak, that's what an Egyptian actually I didn't think in those terms when I was thinking of Mubarak. I was only thinking of Israel or something. But she said in the United States she was a professor from Egypt, and Mubarak betrayed because Sudan is very important for Egypt, and he didn't do anything in terms of helping Sudan in terms of South Sudan's problem.
To the contrary, we discovered that maybe his hidden agenda in the case of the issue of that course. So this is why Sudan came to Qatar.
And that's why I'm wondering about the Sudanese perspective about Egypt, because
we were surprised.
We
were surprised because the role played by Qatar was much bigger than the role played by Egypt.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
It's shameful for Egyptians.
And it was one of their files. During Omar Suleiman, who was the intelligence, the head of intelligence, that was one of his files, but they didn't do anything about it. So they could have helped in order not to lead to the secession of both countries, but they didn't do anything about it. So it was a big surprise for us.
I think our target must, be like Turkey now is returning home from its dream in Europe, and in my mind. Returning home in the Muslim world, building relationship. So we must build strong, not state-to-state relationship, even though we are bureaucrats, but I'm not very much interested and concerned about state-to-state relationship, but human-to-human relationship. So therefore, I left my job in the United States to come to this university and then be connected more with the region. So when I have students, for example, in my class from Egypt, from Bosnia, from Albania, from different countries, and that's our connection. Here at that root, we have to start. And this university, for example, and other universities in Turkey, they have a very good intention of giving scholarship, like 15%. We could also take Turkish students instead of 15% international students. But 15% Turkish, international students are financed by some very good intentioned businessmen. So they are, good Muslims and they want to help. So therefore we are requesting and we are encouraging you to send students here. That's your home, and they will be in good hands. And don't worry about whether they are male, female students. They will be friends with our students here, who come from very good families in terms of students. And when we send them back after graduation, and they will be our ambassadors.
Your ambassadors to Turkey, our ambassador in Sudan.
Can I add one more thing? Thank you, Hocam, very much for this. There is also the other area of internships, placement opportunities. We are very open to sending our students to a Sudanese company to do an internship over the summer. Or similarly, any Sudanese student coming here can go to a number of countries to do internships. So it's another way to build human-to-human connection, not just within the classroom, but outside of classrooms.
Okay, please. I would like to ask questions. Just ask us questions about the situation in Egypt. Actually, we have been in Ankara acting with Turkish scholars.
Yeah.
For various situations.
From the Diplomacy Academy and the Public Diplomacy Academy.
And there's a very important question that I should have asked, but unfortunately I didn't ask. Maybe this is a good opportunity to ask.
Yeah, please.
Now the Turkish foreign policy adopts something like a zero-sum problem policy towards situations in North Africa and Arab countries where the wave of Arab Spring is there. The question is Turkish has the initiative to change this zero problem approach into and managing the situations in those countries.
Yeah, one thing.
Yes, against the background of what happened now in Egypt, Syria, to be exact. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is that the zero problem with neighbors policy has two dimensions. One is relating to the internal dimension to change the confidence of Turkey, because it was like there was a motto that Turkey is surrounded with the enemies, and then it means that it creates you a kind of the cynic and then turn into back, and then all others are your enemy, and then you cannot trust anyone. It is a kind of message to the public, to the internal public, to change your attitudes towards the world, understand and then you connect with them. This is for the self-confidence of the Turkish people. The second is about the audience, outer audience, external audience. An external audience, we have two or three. One is about the global understanding, global public opinion, international public opinion. The second one, the regimes and the states of those countries that are our neighbors. And the third one is the public of those states. And we may then, in the context of the Syria and the other countries, in the context of the Syria, Turkey had to make the Assad regime for 9 months forced Turkey to take a stance between public against public, or with regime or against regime. Turkey at that point, after the 9 months, had to take the stance to together work with the public and the Syrian people or with the regime. And Turkey put it clearly that this is the zero problem with neighbors. It means that if there is a sacrificing, that we cannot sacrifice the public people and we sacrifice the regime, because people is not anymore wants to work with this regime. And then Turkey made a choice, because it was forced by the Assad to choose the regime or the people. And Turkey chose the human people at the ground, on the ground, that this is the zero problem. Neighbors is still continuing. In terms of the Egypt, in terms of the Tunisia, Turkish supports to all the public. What in the context of Iraq, to say that all segments of the society, without neglecting any of them, and all sects, any minorities, the Islamic or non-Muslims, Muslims or the non-Muslims, should be included into the context. It should be included into the political processes, because people want to do it. Then this is the chance for them. Turkey is work for that, and then it means that send a direct message to the public, because states are like a dress. We can give up one day, and then we will have the new ones. But the soul is over there. The public is over there. Public, the people on the ground will be over there all the times. Because history always have lots of the states rubbish over there. But we have the people. We should have the people in the future. And then new Syria totally will be different than the today's Syria?
I mean, in the case of Syria, there was no possibility to continue a good relationship with Bashar al-Assad regime because, I mean, yesterday they killed 100 people. Every day, like some days, 400 people. I mean, it's a long border, and they will escape to the border. Even if Turkish government wanted to continue the relationship, you know, when those, you know, 200,000 people, refugees are now in Turkey, we still needed to accept them. I mean, there was no possibility of escaping from this crisis. That happens in front of your eyes. And while you are talking about, I mean, the Prime Minister, and he was very critical of Israel, well, in the recent operation, Israel killed 150,000 people. That is to be condemned. But that's a daily killing rate in Syria. Daily killing rate in Syria. So when Israelis are doing, we are very quick to blame. But when an Arabic-speaking Assad is doing, then we are saying, I mean, that cannot go forever. You know, so unfortunately, our close neighbor, and we have very good relationship with Iran, Iran is supporting this regime for its own interest and creating a kind of, you know, despite all these good intentions from Turkey, Iran is trying to build a regional hegemony. That's not fair. I mean, you cannot build a regional hegemony on top of the blood of people. You know, so there must be free and fair elections, and whoever Syrian people elects, we will respect. If they elect somebody who is close to Iran, that's okay. I mean, but you need to respect the majority of the opinion. And therefore, there was no possibility for Turkey to continue. It's, I mean, zero problem is not something that we can worship. You know, I mean, that's an ideal, that's a goal, but that's not that necessarily an idol. There's a difference between ideal and idol. So that where Turkey needed to cut this relationship, it did. And you know, and I think that was a more responsible, you know, behavior. And nobody else were helping, you know, Syrian people. Israel is not interested in removing Assad. You know, I mean, I don't believe in their criticism of Assad. You know, they are very happy to continue this regime in Syria because they are afraid that if this regime falls, it will escalate into Jordan, and then it will, you know, so it, like Mursi, similar type people will come to power.
The reverse containment policy, I think.
Exactly, yeah. So I think Turkey has done its responsibility, at least.
This is human responsibility over the state responsibility.
And there's of course cost of this. And we don't know, for example, you know, we are receiving news that he is deploying not nuclear, but chemical weapons, loading chemical weapons into planes, ready to drop. Maybe he will, I mean, there is a danger for Turkey as well. If these chemical weapons, because it's gas, and the border area is very close and flat, that it will go onto the Turkish side as well. Bashar Assad.
Like what Saddam did in Halepce in 1991. I mean, it's almost the same issues will going on. That's why this is the main fear that this is the human casualties. This is a cleansing.
He's taking advantage of his location of the area, the sensitivity of his location. This is what we were talking about actually.
Well, if he uses chemical bombs, I think there must definitely be an intervention.
I mean, if he used that, this because according you know better than us about the international law, I think so.
I think it's very difficult to intervene.
They put this as a red line, like Europe, if chemical weapons are used, at that moment,
no other chance.
There will be intervention. If not from Europe, Turkey itself will intervene. So that's the red line, you know, for because, you know, I mean, you cannot wait, you know, and then see.
No, but what about the countries surrounding Syria?
Their position will change if chemical weapons are used. You know, I mean, Russian position is already getting weakened. You know, so and their position will have no moral, you know, upper hand when people. I mean, what is the legitimacy when you drop bombs on your own? Like imagine a Turkish government dropping bombs on Istanbul and Ankara, like the Sudanese government dropping bombs on Khartoum. So that's the legitimacy itself is the question.
Also, the Americans are very good. Just 2 days ago, I heard President Obama.
Yeah, this is all.
He told that they are using information in the red line.
Red line, yeah.
They are
United Nations will not do it. Yeah.
United States.
We are not waiting anything from the UN Security Council. I mean, but
So now you
this is
adopt-
our responsibility. This is our
So
global
now-
our responsibility.
So now you adopt the approach of wait and see, right?
In terms of
It's
in
not
terms
a-
of Syria and Egypt. Because
Egypt is
you just mentioned that
no.
Turkish they're taking all the responsibilities towards Egypt and Syria and the
This is- This is not only the responsibility of Turkey. This is everyone sees that Turkey is the only responsible. Turkey take the more responsibility, but it is not the only Turkish responsibility. And then everyone should be aware of that. This is an international and the global humanitarian responsibility that should be taken by.
And we are convinced that this is a very important
But-
role of Turkey.
I mean, it's very important. I mean, this is we have the special 900, more than 900 kilometer borders. with
But wait
Syria.
and see is not, I think, the correct way of describing Turkey. I'm an academic, independent academic, I can tell you that it is also doing more than wait and see about Syria.
Sure.
And in recent days, there are more gains by the opposition, and I think the fact that they are considering chemical weapons is an indication of their desperate situation. They are getting more and more desperate to the extent that, an Iraqi newspaper is reporting that Assad might have escaped. So I think we will soon hear this news, if this news is not
Cihat
true,
Makdisi
but-
had already gone.
Yeah, Makdisi, for example, who Cihat Makdisi in
Speaker.
for foreign ministry, he's lost. He's not anywhere seen. And deputy president, not anywhere to be seen. So there is almost nobody, important surrounding Assad right now because of the explosion. Many of the key people were killed. So I think their numbers are counted. But I could also say Turkey is not doing benign or closed, a blind democracy promotion or something like that.
The 80%
So-
of the Syrians soil is invaded by the opposition of the regime, and they have just
Yeah.
Damascus, and that's
Yeah.
it.
No, I would say, for example, in the case of Sudan, when Turkey was criticized of being double standard, we are not doing anything about Sudan, but we are criticizing Bashar al-Assad regime, domestic opposition in Turkey, using this card or something. We see the situation in Sudan as a plot of the Western imperialism that has been done to Sudan for many years. That's not something new. Since drought, the time of civil war, etc. So Sudan faced this problem because there is an imperialism. We have to accept this, and imperialism intervenes into Africa. And one of the key area is Sudan. So they don't want stability, and they will. So what Turkey said, we will help Sudan through investments, by helping its economic development, and by building a middle class. And this middle class will grow in size and power. And then after some point, it will not be possible to suppress. So that's the best way to deal with authoritarian regimes sometimes. And Turkey did not bandwagon with the U.S. embargo or Western embargo in the case of Sudan. We chose the side of China about Sudan. That the Chinese way of handling the situation. I think, but in the case of Syria, that was not possible, because the scale of the crisis, I mean, is entirely different. So, so in a way, Turkey is not an irresponsible, state, like let's say, or it is not a luxurious Scandinavian European country like Norway or Sweden to protest, to everything or something like that. No, there are some authoritarian regimes that Turkey can work with, and those people who don't want Turkey to work with them, they are not helping us. They are not also helping that country either. So, but in the case of Syria, Turkey tried this also, for a long time. Bashar al-Assad, came to Turkey. Turkish, foreign minister went to Syria, maybe 40 times or something. Maybe.
Strategic agreement with the
strategic agreement.
And the joint cabinet, joint cabinet meetings that had also held in Aleppo. And then,
but he then chose the road of violence. When people demanded their rights, he started to butcher them. I mean, when you see this butchering behavior, there is no way for them. I mean, we shared 900 kilometer long border, and therefore, that zero problem policy was not ended by Turkey. It was ended by our neighbor. Maybe it's also wrong to say neighbor, because neighbor is Syria itself, and we don't consider Bashar al-Assad at this point to represent Syria. He is totally illegitimate. So therefore, he's a criminal dictator who happens to be in that position, but the legitimacy is not resting anymore with him. I think the United Nations also need to accept this fact, and then try to topple this dictator, from power, and then help Syrian people to form a responsible government.
It's just a matter of time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Biz çok teşekkür ediyoruz.
Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we will keep in touch, and then Hande that will send an email will send you an email about the contacts, about all those things, and then we are all open to your comments. And then if you come to Istanbul, feel free to visit us, to inform us, and then it will be the nice. Thank you.